So, yang going up, yin going down is death. And in fact, in the I Ching, if you have 3 yang lines over 3 yin lines, anyone practice the I Ching? Or know what that hexagram is? That the 3 yang lines fire over water. Anyone know that that hexagram? Anyone? And no I Ching scholars here? Huh? What? So it's 3 yang lines over 3 yin lines. So fire over water is, what's that character? Somebody must. What? P.
Resistance.
It's P, or obstruction, right? And even, right, is that P? Did I draw it correctly? P. And if you have like the disease radical over, it means obstruction, it's focal distension. Like a block in the middle of the body that prevents the chi dynamic from working is P with the disease radical over it. But for the hexagram, it's just obstruction, or basically everything not working out. And the commentary on it says, heaven is far away, not looking down upon earth, and earth is sinking down into despair, and there's no relationship, so nothing can grow, nothing can prosper. Everything is destruction. Destruction's another way that this P is translated. So when we have yang over yin, it's destruction. But what about the opposite of this? I don't need to draw it. So you have the yin line over yang line. So it's, Zhang Jingyue, one of our esteemed predecessors, talks a lot about the fire under the cooking pot. Like if you have a fire that's over a cooking pot, and your cooking pot's here and your fire's there, you don't get soup, right? And so he talks a lot about the Mingmen fire, that's underneath the cooking pot of the spleen, and how that fire has to be rooted there. And in our body, basically the yin-yang symbol is a picture of our body's physiology. And it says yang is coming in from heaven through our lungs into our heart. We breathe the yang influences in through our lungs into the space of the heart, and it's brought deep within our body to root as the Mingmen fire. That's the fire that's under the cooking pot. And earth is coming into our body, and being cooked by the yang and steaming upward. So yang actually comes down and roots. Physiological yang comes down from heaven and roots deep in our body. Yin comes from the earth into our body and then is transformed by yang. So yin that is not transformed is not physiological yin. Yin has to be cooked by fire, to be steamed up and spread throughout our body to become moisture. So this is a basic lesson in yin-yang theory, but that's the picture of how our body works, is yin-yang in right relationship, And so we have the root yin-yang, which is Mingmen fire, cooking up the fluids that starts with the kidney yin, then goes into the middle warmer. In the middle warmer, this is called a Taiji 2, or a map of the great mechanism. The yin-yang symbol is called Taiji 2, which means a map of the great mechanism. So we have our root yin-yang that cooks and steams up into the middle warmer yin-yang, which is qi and blood. It produces qi and blood. It goes up even further out to the surface of our body, and what does it become there? Any thought? Qi, blood, yin wei. Okay? So we can see the body like the fire, the kidney yin, the kidney yang, steaming up to create qi and blood. which is another yin-yang symbol. It's actually the same yin-yang, you know, coming from the root, but it's in a different place with a different function, so we call it qi and blood. Then when it goes up to the lungs and the heart and the surface of the body, it's the yin and the wei. So all of these are yin-yang pairs that have to be in right relationship with each other. So the qi and blood, the reason I put the qi here is because qi is inside and underneath blood. It's right relationship. We know that qi governs the blood. It's in there. It's making the blood move. The blood houses the qi, right? So they have to stay in right relationship and not come out of right relationship. Yin-yang shouldn't come out of right relationship. You know, in general, anytime yin-yang comes out of right relationship, we get symptoms. You know, pathological yang that's not rooted by yin will tend to flare up. And pathological yin will tend to go down. You know, and be things like edema and things like that. So, you know, in some ways we could say all of our medicine is about getting yin-yang in right relationship in one way or another, getting it back into right relationship and cleaning up the mess from it not being in right relationship. So that's a little long way around talking about the blood, but we have to understand the nature of blood so we can understand how to treat it. So blood should have lots of qi in it, and there should be a lot of blood to house the qi, and that's healthy blood is actually not just blood, it's qi and blood. It's actually the qi that makes it red. So if blood loses its right relationship, then the blood part goes out of the blood, the liquid part goes out of the blood, and the qi part also goes out of the blood. So what does that become? You know, if blood and qi lose their right relationship? Any thoughts? It's the blood can't move very well because it's lost its qi, right? Also, the blood aspect becomes dampness and edema. The qi aspect becomes dryness, inflammation, feverishness, you know, like wind. Qi that's not in blood is pathological, and it tends to be more yang, so it'll move around. It might itch, you know, it might create spasms and pain, you know, but it's not going to move very well because it's not in a pathway.